a trainer and as a support engineer. And today I have the honor to conduct this webinar, how to install Zabbix in 5 minutes. Hopefully it will be a very short webinar. Let's start. In case if you have any sort of questions, just drop them inside the dedicated section Q&A. If it's possible, don't use chat because Q&A is just exactly for questions and answers. Write them the question, and if you would like to receive a copy of this presentation, you can write your email address maybe inside the chat, and we will collect the emails and deliver these slides to your email afterwards. All right. So the topic for today is how to install Zabbix in 5 minutes. And it's easy. We can go just to our website, zabbix.com/download, and there are a lot of options how to install. The default one is install from packages, where you can fully set up the instance on a native operating system, Ubuntu, CentOS, Oracle Linux, Debian, Raspbian. Different options as well. Cloud images. We are serving Zabbix already in the cloud. If you want to not dive deep inside the documentation, like in this first section, install from packages, you can totally authorize in the cloud, assign your credit card, and kickstart this Zabbix appliance. The cheapest option for the playground is DigitalOcean. You can kickstart Zabbix and run with the cost of $6 or $5 per month with 20 gigabyte of drive, but the drive is SSD drive. That's still awesome. And you can connect the proxies to the cloud, and it will easily cover a few devices, maybe hundreds of devices if you keep history for a few days, 3 days or something. You can totally really play with Zabbix inside the DigitalOcean, but for more of production instance, DigitalOcean is not recommended because the cost is so cheap, but they are once in 3 months, they are usually restarting something. They are politely giving a message to your email, like, sorry, we did restart something. So DigitalOcean will not provide a 100% uptime, but it's really good playground for testing. So it's only have a like 3 times a year or something, but you will always get notified in your email what was the outage or something. Different option, Docker containers. Each component of Zabbix can be served over the Docker host, and this is a great, the best option in my opinion, if you want to sell the monitoring product to multiple clients, have one database, and you want to have really a dedicated Zabbix front end for each client, like really independent. There is no way how we can conflict between the clients. Then you can have one database, but you will kickstart one backend for each customer, and that's it. Zabbix appliance, that's like the old school way. If you have some laptop at home or inside your office, the PC, and you're having this application, Oracle VirtualBox or other type of virtualization platform, Hyper-V, maybe you have vCenter, VMware, you can totally jump to this option, download the image and use it. This is, if you want to use Zabbix for production, this would be the less appealing option to use appliance. Even, I don't know, the cloud image is even better, but Zabbix appliance just for use it just for testing purposes, for a really tiny project. Zabbix sources. If you want to run Zabbix together with the Oracle database, for example, or you want to, really customize the server, discard some features, so it's not supported out from the box, then you can customize agent server or proxy by using source, compiling the backend from source. And a Zabbix agent is the fastest way how we can cover the operating system monitoring for Windows, Linux, Mac operating systems. There are a quite useful wizard, and yeah, download the agent, install on Linux, Windows, and you're ready to go monitor it. Docker container also contains documentation at our Zabbix.com website. If you enter the documentation page, then on the left side there is a section install from Docker containers where you can see some description what is the what's behind each Docker container, so you can figure out which options you want to adjust just to suit your needs. What we will do right now, I guess we will show how fast we can install Zabbix for one of these systems. Here is the theoretical part, how many steps are involved, and just before the demo, also I would like to encourage to visit our documentation page. It's zabbix.com/documentation. It will bring to this screen where you can pick the language and hit the exact version which you are currently using or planning to use in your production. And right now, let's jump to the demo. How I do that. Let's have one moment. Let's go to the official Zabbix website, zabbix.com/download. I will establish SSH session. This is exactly the machine running inside the DigitalOcean. I do not have any history even. I just kickstarted this CentOS 7 machine 30 minutes ago, so you can experience what is the what's the performance of the machine where you pay $5 per month. So release, I would like to show, no, release, I don't know anymore how to correctly write that. Yeah, so this is CentOS 7.6. SC Linux also is currently get and force. Yeah, SC Linux is on, but for the simplicity of this demonstration, I will. What's this window is about? For the simplicity, I will disable the SC Linux. Set and force 0, and right now let's follow official instructions inside the zabbix.com download. I'm clicking here, install from packages. I will pick the flavor 5.0 CentOS 7 with the MySQL and Nginx. Nginx will perform quite the same as an Apache, but it will consume less memory, so it's better. Okay, let's follow the instructions. Number 2 point is install Zabbix repository. I will select this command, go to the clipboard and install repository. Next, yum clean all. Yes, it's cleaned. And now let's install Zabbix backend. And yeah, I did miss the one step, I guess. Yeah, in order to follow these instructions, let's see what's happening when we execute this command. It will install Zabbix agent server, and okay, that's fine. And yes, and yes, and yes. So the backend is configured, but yeah, the thing is, for example, what's the difference if you ask why pick CentOS and why do not pick Ubuntu, for example? And one really big difference is in a CentOS you have more control over the components. This time I'm going through the instruction, and if you decide to use Red Hat CentOS Oracle Linux, then this instruction expects you have experience in setting up the database server, and you have already somewhere the database server running. So yeah, you have some experience using Linux and using MySQL or PostgreSQL. That's for these three options. On the Ubuntu system, if you run this command, and if the package manager will notice you do not have the database server installed, it will just like without any questioning, it will install database server locally. So if you don't want to go through the setup of database server, then it's better for beginners to use Ubuntu. But if we choose Red Hat CentOS Oracle Linux, then we have to know how to set up database server, and that I will that too right now. I am install MariaDB server. If I correctly remember, so this will be the database server for the CentOS system, and let's take a look if we can authorize. No, systemctl start MariaDB. Yes, and let's check it if it is running. Yes, and let's also make sure it will run on the next reboot. All right, and this step, I just installed the MariaDB server over here. If on an Ubuntu system, it will just happen automatically. So you can choose which flavor to use better. Okay, next step after the database is installed and the backend is also installed. This is the backend, a Zabbix server, which will work with MySQL database or MariaDB. It's the same. And now on the CentOS system, I need to set up this software collection repository just to have this PHP 7.2 version. All right. And now I need to enable the front end in this repository. Yes, and there is a separate section, front end, and I will set enabled one. And what next? I must install the front-end packages, and let's have this -y just to accept everything. And you see this performance. This is the machine running in the DigitalOcean. I think that the performance is just awesome. You will never accomplish such speed in your local VirtualBox. Yeah, that's my opinion. Maybe if you have a really expensive computer, maybe then it will go faster. But this time, this machine in DigitalOcean for $5 in a month, it works so fast. All right. Next step, we must create a Zabbix database. This command it assumes you will authorize with the root and with some root password, but just because my database server does not have any password, I will just use MySQL. And now I will create the suitable database for Zabbix. The database is there, and also I need to have the user, and user will have the password. Guess what will be the password? It will be Zabbix. Next step is to allocate the users allocate the permission for this user to be capable to work with this database. Yes, and yeah, the last command, quit. And what next? We must put the structure inside the Zabbix database. Zabbix consists with 140 tables or something like that, and this is the schema. I will copy this guy and pass it to the MySQL and directly insert to the database Zabbix. And this schema is located inside the operating system because we installed this package. If you somehow miss this step, then you will not be capable to execute this step to cook the Zabbix database. And to a little bit extend the story, what was done when this command was run, then I can just authorize inside the Zabbix database and see show tables, and there are 166 tables. So when I did insert this schema, now it's all the structure, how everything is connected inside the Zabbix, all the problems, triggers, acknowledgements, users, everything is here inside these tables. All right, and let's instruct the backend to be capable to communicate with the database. VIM, yeah, it's not good. Let's install VIM just to have a little bit coloring. And now when I open the server, I have a section DB password. I need to instruct what is the password for database, and that password is Zabbix, and I think that's pretty much it. Yes, let's save the file. Following back, yeah, also this step says that you need to change only the password field. Now I need to have instructions how to enter the like the web server configuration, and I need to open this file right now. But before that, I need to understand what is the server name or IP address of my server, and that will be, the public address will be this guy, and I will do like VIM and copy this guy to the clipboard. And now for the server name, I will put this IP address, and it will listen on port 80. And yeah, inside these instructions there is the same, only the most likely you will use the friendly DNS name to reach out your server. But if you do not have any DNS server, or you want to play inside the DigitalOcean, then you can do exactly like I did. Just observe the public IP address, and that's it. Next step, to modify some access control list users. VIM here. There is a line Apache. There was an instruction to include engines, and also we must have the correct time zone here, starting with semicolon. You just remove the semicolon, and the time zone gets active. Yeah, user and time zone. Okay, let's save the file, and that looks like pretty much it. Now I will restart all the components which is involved in order to Zabbix. This is the backend in agent, just to cover the basic operating system monitoring, and these last two services are just to serve the graphical user interface. And now I will execute it, restart. It did execute okay, and enable all the services at startup. Before jumping to the front end, I would like to take a look if everything is fine through the log. We have var log Zabbix ls. If you start the server and the log appears, that's already success. And I will take a look what's inside. And just because a lot of processes here, number 30, number 18, number 20 is started, this is already an indication that backend was capable to communicate with Zabbix database. That's awesome. And yeah, I now need to make a note again. What was the IP address? This is the IP address. I just opened the IP address inside the web browser and follow the wizard. Here, some dependencies for the PHP. For the 5.0, right now we are, the minimal PHP version is 7.2. MySQL localhost, and I need to put the password Zabbix again. So the front end is different component, and the front end also needs to know how to communicate with Zabbix database. Yes, here you can leave everything empty, and next and finish. And now, yeah, we have a fully functional Zabbix server. Username is admin with the capital A. Password is Zabbix, all small letters, and you are already inside the instance. And yeah, that was probably it about the demonstration. If I go to the hosts, there is one host running Zabbix server. So this guy is monitoring the operating system, the actual machine, this machine, which is running in DigitalOcean with the disk space, 24 gigabytes. Yeah, and it's already working. And this IP address actually is currently available inside the public. If you enter inside your browser, you can like interrupt my scenario, broke the instance, and I will not be, you can change the password for me, and I will not be capable to show you anymore. But that was not in the plan. All right, I will jump right now to the questions. If you have any, just write them inside the Q&A section. The Q&A section right now is quite empty. And inside the chat, oh, I see some email addresses. Okay, we will deliver this presentation to your email machine, email box. Okay. Does Yum take care of installation of MySQL or not? The answer is not. You must install manually, like pick the flavor. Are you gonna use MariaDB or MySQL 8 or PerconaDB? Or maybe for the best performance, you need to have a dedicated database server, and that's the reason for the CentOS. If you want to gain more control of the setup, you have to use distribution coming from Red Hat system. If you're very new to Linux, then I really suggest to use Ubuntu 18 or 20 or 19. And I think Debian systems was working quite similar. If the database is not there, then it will install. What about tuning database? There is a comment. So if you did ask for the presentation, there is additional slide inside the presentation. It's coming at the very last slide. It covers the similar steps which was described inside the website. Yeah, but actually those are for 4.0, a little bit outdated, but the database tuning, some instructions like the most important bits, how to tune the MySQL server are in this section. So server.conf, there are 6 lines, and the most common mistake is you allocate a lot of memory for your database server, but you forgot to instruct the database engine to utilize that memory. And this line, the InnoDB buffer pool size are talking about that. If you have like 32 gigs of RAM, then you have to give at least 20 gigabytes for the database server. Any other questions? I'm using appliance for my company. You talk about 450 hosts. There is no question in this in this statement. Hello, is it possible to install Zabbix somehow within Mac OS? Yeah, I have not here like a really big success story about this, but since the macOS also is a Unix kind of system, you can really just download the source and run this configure statement to configure configure the server, and then it will request a lot of dependencies per regular expression or per other all the libraries which are involved in order for the backend to function. It will ask all those libraries, and to be more precise, you will have to have all those libraries, like a development version of those libraries installed in your system. And if it will match all the requirements, then you're ready really to compile the server, and then you can run on the Mac OS. But I would really encourage you to install just a Docker host on the Mac OS, and then you can run Docker Zabbix via the Docker, and it will be much faster and maybe even more transparent to use. Are there advantages of using MySQL or PostgreSQL? This is like in a short, MySQL is better for scaling. If you want to allow 50 or even 100 users, like concurrent users in Zabbix, then in long term MySQL will be better. And if you want to have some high availability and failover solutions, then also MySQL will be better. But if you like are really in hate of all those cluster solutions, and you just don't want to always like run away from these type of things, then I really encourage to use PostgreSQL. It will be like in default, it will perform much better than MySQL. Like out from the box, it will perform better. Yeah, but that's my own opinion. There are different opinions. You can search our official YouTube channel. We have exactly this title: which database is better? So you can take a look. And there is an answer that take the database which you are familiar with. If you cannot write SQL statements, like a good one, like accomplished statements in PostgreSQL, maybe use MySQL, because it's more, you will found more inside the internet how to filter out some fields in MySQL and not PostgreSQL. Can you upgrade a live Zabbix? Live Zabbix, I guess you... yeah, I don't know. I understand what do you mean by that. Okay. What is the difference between install from packages and appliance? What's the difference? It will be hard to expand the disk space for the appliance if you do not have like extended knowledge of Linux. It can be hard. I think that disk is limited, and for when you install from packages, if you allocate at first 100 gigabytes or more, then you have full space for the database for the system. But appliance, it will have a limited disk, and if you do not know how to extend it, then you are stuck. That's one reason I can think of. Different reasons I cannot currently tell. Any link for free Docker host? What do you mean exactly? Because you just enter the hub Zabbix Docker and enter this repository, and there are all our official Docker containers and all the supported tags for the appliance, for example. Yeah, appliance. I think it contains some. You cannot currently run good, the very latest 5.0 by using the appliance, but the backend works great. And yeah, here you can see all the supported tags are not here, but yeah, supported tags are here, the numbers, and the attributes which you can adjust are mentioned also inside the hub.docker.com Zabbix. All right, any other questions? How to backup Zabbix installation if someday we need to restore to another machine? That's quite a good question. And if we enter the website, for example, we go to the zabbix.com and click the download button and click the appliance button. There is a blue link at the bottom of the screen, Zabbix 5.0 appliance manual. This is a really great link if you want to a little bit more understand what's connected to what and which firewall ports must be open, and some deeper process level about how the appliance is configured and how Zabbix works in general. Here, for example, all the information about firewall configuration. And you asked about backup. I think there was a time there was some content about backup here. It looks really odd that it's not anymore. Let's go back to the 4.4 version and search for keyword backup. Restore backup for 4.0 version backup. Really interesting. .4 and here let's go back to the English version, to the 5.0 and search for MySQL dump. No, not really. MySQL dump. Oh. It's like a hidden trick inside the French version of documentation. You know, the database backup can be performed by MySQL dump, and if you search this keyword inside our documentation page, you can find a section that in order to backup Zabbix, you just execute this dump, and to restore the backup, you execute the command and restore to the Zabbix database, and that's it. If you can run upgrade a Zabbix installation to newer version, just check the YouTube, and we have this great channel performed by my colleague Dmitris. He's producing a lot of good videos inside the YouTube. I will take show you a little bit how to find him. YouTube and Dmitry Lambert, and this is the guy. He's working with me, and I think almost the very latest version, very latest video from him is where is it? Upgrade to 5.0. Yeah, it's really the latest version. So you were asking about upgrade. Just search this guy and or search the title, how to upgrade Zabbix to 5.0, and 20 minutes on the topic. That's quite good. I want to test Zabbix myself on the same machine. I will, as proposed by you, with Docker host or by a virtual machine. Is it possible from both of this to monitor the host physical machine? Guess yes, but what would you suggest for it? You just expose one port to the outside world from Docker. This port is 10,051, and then you can install agent on locally on the system and direct to this Docker host, either using maybe it was not working with the local host. I do not remember, but if you check the network network related stuff, you can find the IP address which refers to your container. So you will point out your local machine to the address of the container and to contact the server via port 10,051. So you can have the Docker and the agent running on Windows, on a Mac, or on a Linux. Is there any link for the purpose? I did. I think I do not answer this question, but I guess you are running. You are talking about still the Docker container. You have to study the documentation of the Docker appliances, Hub, Zabbix, and for example, there is the backend is the guy who is responsible about monitoring, and the backend is Zabbix Server MySQL container. And I think if we search 5.1, so this is the command how to launch the Docker container, and I'm talking about the exposing ports and you can expose the port by using -p argument. You just write -p 151 colon and 151, and you are exposing this port to the outside world. And also this guy was talking about the same topic some year ago. If you search Docker, I think that's available, or official channel. If you go to the Zabbix.Zabbixia channel here, or just think Docker Zabbix, maybe some keyword like that, and yeah, this is official channel. Same guy. So this video will explain how to expose the port. If you want to run appliance on the Mac OS, you can expose the port and point the local agent on that appliance. All right, we are going quite deep in this topic. I will skip that question. If you have some simpler questions, not so touchy, then write them in the Q&A. All right, guys. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. Hope you did gain a bit some knowledge. And if you did not, if you are not using Zabbix already, then remember to visit zabbix.com/download and try one of these options. The appliance thing probably is the most simplest one. You can just install Oracle VirtualBox on your local machine and run the appliance. But the next better thing, from my opinion, would be playing with the Zabbix inside the DigitalOcean. maybe install from packages or use the already existing cloud image. All right, thank you very much for attending and have a great rest of the day. Bye.